Well, howdy diddly and dandy there, chums. It is I, Captain Steve Exo, and today, chums, I'm going to be doing an overview of No Man's Sky in 2021. I'm going to tell you about the good, and I'm also going to tell you about the not so good. Heck yes, I'm going to call this the good, the bad, and the ugly, but there probably is no ugly, because this game is freaking beautiful. Yeah, so there we go. I'm now up on the mezzanine inside of my fretter, and something that I love about being up here is you can see all your ships. You can own up to 6 ships inside of your capital ship, and yes, I've got some specimens, heck yes. So I've got 2 fighters, I've got a living ship, I've got an exotic, and I've got a shuttle, and another fighter over there. So yeah, 3 fighters actually. So half my fleet are fighters. Now they are fantastic, and I love the ship designs. I mean, don't get me wrong, these ships are freaking ace. But what I would say, chums, is there's not much difference between the different ships and the ship classes anymore, chums. So yeah, there's no real bonus of one over the top of the other. I do love my fighters. I mean, look at the stats on this. Yeah, all the other ships sort of pale in comparison, and now you can have the same sort of slottage and storage size as even a hauler, so it almost makes haulers redundant. And another thing that I'm finding a little bit redundant, I mean, that's all the stuff that I like, but this is the stuff that I'm not so keen on now, chums. Here we go. The stuff that I'm not so keen on is my living ship. I mean, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? But as you saw the stats on my previous ship, my fighter, this does not even come close, because you can't upgrade these. You can't put in extra modules. Well, you can get some upgrades, but you can't get things like rockets or the positron ejector. It has no unique weapons or anything unique about it, and it's underpowered. You can't have any scanners in there. Heck no, you can't. So this is almost not worth having a living ship at the moment, but I've held on to it because I'm hoping one day they'll give it a reason, a purpose, a sense of being. And yeah, it's like the shuttles as well, chums. You know, I've only got the shuttle because I like where the screens are for hunting down sort of crash ships and things. And I've got an exotic because I just love the way it looks. But otherwise, I'd have a whole fleet of fighters. I really feel they're missing a trick. They need ship-related missions. So, you know, shuttles would have taxi missions. Exotics will let you scan or something. I don't know. Anything. We need ship missions or perks. Heck yes, we do. Righto, I'm waving again. Hello, I'm on my freighter bridge. My freighter bridge is frickin' ace. I love my freighter bridge. I guess I've got all my trophies up here. Lots of trophies. And I've got all my little NPC desks. Look at them all. It's like being on a Starship Enterprise or something. It's frickin' ace. I love what I've done up here. The customization of the freighter on the interior, top notch. I love having a freighter base. It's frickin' ace. Something that I don't like is it keeps renaming itself to previous galaxies that I've visited. I'm on PS4, and there seems to be a new bug, but previously I couldn't rename my freighter. Now it renames itself to whatever the fudge it likes. Okay. Right, something else that's a little bit off with, you know, customizing your freighter. If you go into customize appearance, you have a paint button, and you've got all these padlocks that you can't unlock from inside this screen. This paint button here is just sort of redundant and sticks out. You know, when you're doing the Exocraft ones, you've got decal there. I'm wondering whether they were supposed to add decals and just didn't. But yeah, you can't just unlock the colours on this screen. You have to pop out of this screen and into another screen. It's just janky and off-balanced. It doesn't feel right. And also, the primary colours and the secondary colours seem to be swapped, and the accent colours seem to do fudge in nothing. So yeah, it's a bit broken. And I think you're going to see a running theme with pretty much everything that I show you. Every single one of my favourite elements of No Man's Sky has got jankiness and slight little bugs and glitches with them, if you want to call it that. So here we go. I'll go into this purchasing menu, and now I've got all this here, tech, but then you press R1 inside of your ship research, and the paints are somewhat, for some reason here. It just doesn't make sense. I think you should be able to unlock them from the other screen. That screen seems a bit overkill and a little bit finicky. And odd, just very odd. Unfinished is the word I'm looking for, I think. It'd be nice to have turrets in there and decals. Heck yes, it would. And now this manage fleet option too. Now, I do love having a frigate fleet. Having a frigate fleet is excellent, and you can see here I've named all of them after my favourite 80s shows. Freaking brilliant! However, look at the colours. Look at the colours. They don't match. It's not a fleet if they don't match. I'm OCD with colours. I need to be able to colour these in. I want this colour scheme. Red and white. Heck yes. I mean, there's loads of dead space on this screen. They could stick it down here at the bottom, couldn't they? They could have paint ship. And all those colours that you've bought for your freighter, you could apply them to your frigates. It'd be awesome. Yeah, they need to do that. Heck yes, they do. Because at the moment it looks like I've got a flying circus. It really does. They're just a mishmash. Yeah, so I'm not so keen on that aspect. Oh, the Galactic Map. The Galactic Map, what a marvel. So the Galactic Map is freaking out. I mean, you can pull out and fly in as far as you like, and it goes on forever, and it's got a quintillion planets, and it was the showpiece of pretty much every demonstration that Hello Games have done since day dot. But has it got colorblind mode? No, it don't. So when you actually select your economy filter, it's very difficult for those that are colorblind to see what color this actually is. It would be nice if it said the color of the star in the title. Heck yes. So, as you can gather so far, chums, I have got a little bit of an improvement idea for almost every sort of implementation that is actually in current game as it stands now. And I still feel that this is in development, and I still have very high hopes that all these sort of things will get sorted. However, it's been like 4 years in, and we've had patches on top of patches and updates, and the updates have been free, and the patches have been readily available, and Hello Games are freaking awesome. And for such a small team, what they put out there is mind-blowingly awesome. But it just feels that a lot of the updates that go in come with their own sort of drawbacks and empty patches and what feels like maybe slightly rushed elements. And I don't mean that as a dig. I know that their team is quite small, and I know this is a procedural and ambitious project. So yeah, all I'm trying to do is highlight that although that No Man's Sky is a very different experience to what it was when it first started, and it is amazing, there are things in there that just feel slightly disjointed and a little bit janky that I just want to have improved slightly. I mean, the reason I got No Man's Sky is because of, I mean, look at this planet. And I think I just saw a beetle creature over that hill over yonder. I'm heading there to see if I did just see a beetle creature, because beetle creatures are freaking awesome. See, now, there are animals and creatures that have been brought into the verse during Origins that are beautifully animated. If they've got some new creature animators, I want to say a massive great big thank you personally to those creature animators, because they are freaking mind-blowingly beautiful. These beetles are so well animated, and also the flying sort of butterflies with the long tails. I could just watch those for ages. Same with these beetles. I would like to sit upon this hilltop and just watch them flying around. It'd be nice if camera mode had a cinematic feature. You know, like how in multiplayer it continues to make everything move. However, you're still sort of impervious to stuff. A cinematic camera mode, I would just love to sit here and watch these beetles for like a good, have it as a screensaver on in the background. That'd be freaking ace. Just watch the sun go down and rainbows come up and things. It'd be awesome. Right, so yeah, I love planetary exploration, I love the animations, and I love what Origins brought to the verse, and I really do feel it needs a couple more Origins type style updates to really sort of polish it off. Another thing that I would say is combat is a little off. I mean, yes, I've got these sentinels coming at me right now. Kapow, kaboom! He turned into a giant beer keg, little casing. Yeah, I don't know how they do that. It just warps physics somehow. But yeah, this is what combat is at the moment in No Man's Sky. Yeah, I can just sort of blaze through these guys. Now, the biggest threat in game is a Sentinel Walker. You even get a warning come up from your little exo-droid to say, "Warning, Sentinel Walker detected," or something along those lines. In it pops, and is it really a threat? When you've got your suit fully upgraded, it really isn't. You know, I don't have any heart-pounding moments in this where I actually feel that I am threatened. Now, considering that there was 4 pillars to No Man's Sky: explore, fight, trade, and survive, the whole survival aspect and the combat or fight aspect is slightly under par. I'd even go as far to say even the trade element isn't quite there. I mean, it's like you can be a pirate. You can go shoot down a load of freighters and blow up a load of NPC ships and all sorts of stuff and lose faction rating. Your faction rating goes down. Does that mean anything? No, it doesn't. Not in translation, it doesn't. You know, it'd be nice if that race would charge you extra for ships, or not even sell you ships or modules, or charge you extra for resources. If you've blown up all their chums, you'd think you'd get some sort of downgrade or something. I mean, your faction rating goes down, but it's just a number. It doesn't overly matter, but it needs to. And they could do with rebalancing trade and doing things that actually linked to your favour with the race. It's like the better you are with a race, perhaps you get better deals. Perhaps you get, money off stuff. I don't know. But anyway, the threat element needs to be worked on, because this is about as big as the threat gets, the Sentinel Walker, unless you want to go shoot a station. If you shoot a station, then you're going to get pretty much annihilated by all the ships that fly out of it. But then again, even if you've got an OP ship, you can sort of negate that too. You are fairly OP compared to a whole fleet of ships. So yeah, that's combat. I hope they work on the combat. They did bring us Desolation as an update, where you can go on board derelict freighters, and in the derelict freighters are new threats. You are going to find new creatures in there that can scurry up the walls, which are freaking awesome. I love the creatures you find on the derelict freighters. They're blinking great, and again, really well animated, and almost feels disconnected from some of the other creature animations. And yeah, I really do hope we see cave creatures that are like those on the derelict freighters. That'd be so cool. Creatures that can scale walls in caves would be brilliant. Or even bat type creatures that fly up on the ceiling and land upside down or something. That'd be sweet. Now I'm underwater. Now you're probably thinking, wow, you can even go underwater. Heck yes, you can go underwater. You can explore the oceans. Heck yes, love this. Especially in VR. This is so cool, being able to go under the water and on land. No Man's Sky is so big. It really is. You can explore space, you can explore land, you can explore the oceans. Now, in the oceans, normally you don't find these sort of swimming mammalian type creatures. I've just been lucky. And I've also got eel-like creatures. I've been super lucky. But what you don't get in the oceans is giant fauna that actually cause a threat. I mean, there are some that if you interfere with some of the actual resources, will pop out the ground, like a game of Pop-Up Pirate, and they will chase you around for a while. But that seems to be like, an instance, something that's been programmed as an action, rather than an actual fauna. It's not a creature you can scan, and you get the same sort of thing happen on every planet, so it's not that procedural. But these guys are pretty ace, but it would be nice to see deeper oceans with giant underwater fauna and a proper threat under the oceans as well. I mean, in the fight trailer, it actually does say, on land, in sea, and in space, that you're going to be getting some sort of threat or something that you need to fight. Not exactly true. Not really. It is and it isn't. It's not as good as what it could be, in my opinion, and I feel it needs some work. Friday, so next up is Exocrafts. I mean, look at them. They look freaking phenomenal. And like I was saying earlier, you can recolor these, you can put decals on them, and you can really make them your own. But then what do you do with them after that? They serve very little purpose. I mean, at the moment, you can see here that I'm on a planet covered in islands, which the only one of these Exocrafts that I might even consider using is the Exomech. I mean, look, if I stand next to these plants, I'm going to get injured because they're toxic. If I get inside of my Exomech, the Exomech protects you against the sort of hazards of the planet. You could be on an extreme toxic world and you won't feel it because, you're inside your Exomech. But if you go stand by these hazardous plants that are less toxic than an extremely toxic planet, you will take damage. And you will take evil venom damage type stuff. There we go, let's stand by there. You see what I mean? Chicka-pow, chicka-boom, see what I mean? Yep. And with this Exomech, you'd think it'd be pretty damn freaking good with lasers, wouldn't you? Or cannons or something. Well, its turn circle is freaking terrible. Here we go, let's aim at it. Let's load on my cannons and let's start shooting one of these. So here we go, I'm shooting that. Take this, you. And you can see there, its energy is going down about 106 a time. Yeah, you feel the force of my cannon. Yeah, die you. That took some killing. That took a lot of killing. Whereas I could just use my multi-tool and I could just zap it like that and it's gone within seconds. Boom! And the critter was gone. It doesn't feel balanced. So I very rarely use my Exocraft. Heck no. I'd rather just use my multi-tool and my legs. Righto. So there we go. We've also been given pets. I mean, look at him. He's so freaking cute. Hello there, my little chum. And you can befriend any creature that you come across, really, apart from the beetles and the fly and sort of dragonflies that I mentioned earlier that I love. You can't have them as pets. Heck, no, you can't. It's just the sort of land-dwelling creatures, the ones that don't fly. I mean, yes, he's got wings. He hovers. He's not really flying. Look at him dance. He's so freaking cute. Yes, you are. And you can actually give these guys commands. You can chain them up and you can build up their trust and you can level up their stats. But the stats, when they were low in stats. They do exactly the same as what they do when they're high in stats. Yep, you can point them into a random direction and off they go to get you some sort of, I don't know, resources. Never anything that you actually want. I mean, he'll probably come back with something odd, or he would just take a dump when he gets to wherever he's going and leave me some Fecium. But at least you're getting stuff for free. But it would be nice if you highlighted something. If I highlighted a load of copper in the ground, it would be nice if he went and dug me up some copper while I go, hit up some knowledge stones or get some carbon or something. So I can actually use him to gather resources that I want, rather than it just being a completely random sort of affair. Because at the moment, they're not really all that helpful. And their AI isn't too dissimilar from each of the different personalities and traits. They are going to be doing very similar sort of things, and it just feels like the AI has not been fully fleshed out. But I love these guys, and I like the text that comes up at the side, and the interactions I've had such a giggle with these creatures. It's been great. However, the patch notes did say that they protect you against hazardous flora, which they actually don't. They don't do anything like what it says in the patch notes, and they do not help you against sentinels, and you have to wait for a dangerous fauna to attack you before your creature will attack that dangerous fauna. They don't defend you. Again, like it said in the patch notes. Right, well, I'm up inside of the Nexus. Heck yes, I like the Nexus. I like multiplayer. But what I don't like is this screen on the side. You see all this text that's popping up at the moment, chums. Freaking mentals. And if I am streaming or anything like that, if somebody's got the text type in there, sometimes it can put all sorts of weird stuff in. So I kind of tweak some of the options to make it so it doesn't put so much in there. But you can't just turn it off. It's an all or nothing affair when you use the turn HUD off. So if I turn off that to disabled, then yeah, it's gone. Hey, what's going on with my feet? That's really weird. If I stand over here, I can see my feet. Stand here. Oh, it's the new liquid metal that they've installed. Lovely. I'm sinking. Very odd. Okay, anyway, that's not what I was planning on actually pointing out, but there we go. That's one of the things. Okay, so let's head on over to the egg synchronizer. So this is a new bit of kit up in the Nexus, and it's related to the pets update that just dropped. Now, if I put an egg in here, I can then spice it up a bit. I can change the size of my creature. I can change its genes. I can even change its color and its behavior. But the gene splitter seems a bit weird. It seems a bit janky, because you can put in, say, a Diplo egg, and you're more than likely to get a giant rat out. If you put in a T-Rex, you're going to get a T-Rex with long fingers. And if you put in a crab, it's going to lose its claws and look more beetle-like. And it seems to be a little bit broken on the gene splitting. It's not as good as it should be, I don't believe. And people have said that it's been duplicating their eggs and causing all manner of problems for them. It seems to be a little bit squiffy. A bit squiffy is the egg machine. And another thing that's a little squiffy, is multiplayer missions. Yeah, hello there, chums. How are you? I think I'm being scanned at the moment. Yeah, he's probably going to... Oh, he tried to lick me. I'm going to run away. Right. Oh, great. I've got to turn my HUD back on. Let's go turn my HUD back on. But it would be nice to be able to disable people sending you invites, because that can really be a pain. If you're in the menu, like in the Quicksilver menu, or something, or trying to select a mission, you get an invite, it can be a right pain getting out the options again. But another thing that is bad is if somebody hogs a mission. If another player just sits there in the mission, so it says 1 of 4, and you're in a party of 3, so there's 4 of you complete, you can't run the mission altogether. It's a pain in the neck. They really need to introduce private lobbies. Private lobbies would be excellent. Then fire teams make sense. Because at the moment, if somebody has held up the mission, it can stop you in your tracks in doing what you want to do. And yeah, I'd never had the problem on the weekend missions. The weekend missions, people pick them up and run them straight away. But I'm finding more and more players are just sitting up in the Nexus and waiting for people to play with, because the matchmaking isn't all that great either. So yeah, if we had private lobbies where you could set up a lobby and say what you're up to, then maybe people would join, and maybe that would free that up. Right, you saw there I got stuck on the lip of the bottom of that ramp. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a bit. These NPCs are beautifully crafted. I mean, look at that. Look at the imagination that went into making Ariadne. Looks like a demonic version of Hello Kitty, I guess. And this guy up here looks like he's Hellspawn. He looks like frickin' Satan. Well, his name's Mercury. Hello there, Mercury. They've all got Greek sort of names. And you would have thought with Greek sort of names they're going to have awesome backstories, but you don't even find out why they're in the Nexus. Nexus. You don't find out much about them at all. During the weekend missions you get snippets, but nothing extreme as to why they're here, what purpose they serve, and what actually brought them here. Why are they standing here doing nothing? I mean, look at them. How awesome is that? The imagination, the amount of detailing, the amount of work that went into making each of these characters, yet no backstory, no missions, no nothing. Now those missions down at the Nexus console are quite repetitive, but how cool would it be if these guys gave you unique missions tailored to their own purposes, and things that they can't do themselves but they want you to do, even if they're mini fetch quests or whatever. But yeah, it would be a lot nicer to have new missions. You see how the screen is shaking at the moment as well, chums? This happens a lot in the Nexus, and I don't know why. Sometimes it's more vigorous than this, to the point that it makes you feel a bit nauseous. I really wish that they could fix the shake of the Nexus. Okay, so here we go. If I run this way, I can't. There's like an invisible wall that I get stuck on, or some sort of curbing or something. It's a pain in the neck navigating the Nexus, because some of these floor panels just have some sort of blocking volume there that really doesn't like your ankles. No, but if you run this way, it automatically pulls you up the lip. It's bizarre. I have no idea what the heck is going on, but this started happening after the pets update. So now I just fly around in the Nexus. Yeah, it's a pain in the neck. Sometimes it's the little things that sort of annoy, isn't it? You know, it's just the little niggles. It's the lack of polish, the lack of fine minutiae and tweaking that just needs to be finely tuned. It just feels that some of this stuff hasn't been tested. I hate to say it, it does. Righto, so here I am down at the Boyd Zoid. So something I really enjoy about No Man's Sky is building bases. Now this was a collaboration with Boyd Gaming. Boyd Gaming is amazing. I put a card at the top to Boyd Gaming's channel. Please go check him out, because he built this thing and he's always building sublime bases like this, and he's a pleasure to watch. Okay, so there we go. That's the Boyd Zoid. Now, something on PlayStation 5, I don't think this happens on any other platform, is the snap points are slightly off. And also, all of these things, all these decorational parts, the parts that this thing is pretty much made out of, are really hard to snap into place. So I want to put this canister facing me, coming off that black cube. So it's just sticking straight out, okay? Look at it, look. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, let's try again. So I want it coming towards me. No, it's like trying to be, I don't know, some sort of having mutant powers and trying to use psychic skills to try and get it to go into place. There we go, let's try and get it right on that ghost image. I'm trying from another angle now. I'm trying my hardest to get it to go the way I want it to go. Now, there we go, done. Frickin' heck. That didn't take frickin' forever, did it? You know what I mean? It should be a heck of a lot easier than this. It really should. And I've reported this to the Zendesk as soon as I got my PS5, because it done my head in. And I've almost stopped building bases, because it takes me 3 times as long to build a very simple structure now, chums, because I love using those parts. It's a pain in the neck. Right, now this planet here, chums, I mean, look how awesome this looks. We got this in the Visions update, this alien sort of world. But yeah, these alien sort of worlds, they appear quite a lot. And I would say that No Man's Sky, although that they say that there's infinite variety and procedural generation, there is a lot of planets that you're still going to see that look very similar to one another, and they still have fixed biomes. Origins brought us 2 new biomes, a lot more terrain detailation, if that's even a word, and a lot more coloration and palettes. And Origins was freaking awesome, don't get me wrong, but there still is room for improvement when it comes to variety, because there are patterns you're going to spot rather quickly. Something that is a niggle to me, I haven't heard many people complaining about this one to be honest, but it does my head in, is the amount of asteroids there are. Because whenever I want to try and get a nice space photo, it takes me ages to find just an empty area of space that isn't littered with these little sort of turdlets of blinking meteorites that are in the system, and they're everywhere. I would like them to be far less frequent than what we're seeing. I mean, every single system has a ringed planet. Look, there's a ringed planet over there. That's another thing that's kind of gripes. I would like it if they made ringed planets a little bit more rarer. So if there was a system that didn't have a ringed planet, fine. Don't still put a load of asteroids in there, because you're going to need them if you run out of tritium, basically. But if there is a ringed planet, And I mean, if you go close enough to a ring, the actual ring is made out of, you've guessed it, loads of little turd droplets of asteroids all the way around the actual ring of the actual system. So if you do find a ringed planet, people would go there and mine the asteroids because they'd be like, oh look, it's got a ringed planet, I can go grab a load of frickin' basic resources and tritium for my drives. But at the moment, because there's so many meteorites out there, I don't think even people realise that the rings are made out of asteroids, to be honest. So it kind of takes away from the magic of finding a ringed planet. And it definitely takes away from the magic of finding a ringed planet when every single system, even if it's only got one planet in that system, will have a ringed planet. They're almost forced spawns, and it takes away from the fact that you found a ringed planet. It really does. I remember when I first saw a ringed planet, I was like, oh my god, I've got to put a base on that ringed planet. I've got to put a ring on it because I like it. But every single system has got them to the point that now they're just there, and people just and shrug their shoulders and go on. But yeah, it'd be nice to see a little bit more rarity to things, and a lot less meteorites in systems that have the ringed planets, or a lot less meteorites full stop. You know, if you haven't stocked up on tritium, you've got a long journey to a freaking space station or something, you know. But there we go. That's kind of everything, I think, chums. But No Man's Sky is an amazing game. I don't want this to come across like I'm hating on Hello Games or hating on No Man's Sky, because that is not the case at all. The purpose of this video is I have sent Zendesk messages throughout the whole lifespan of No Man's Sky, and some things have been addressed and some things have not. And some things are very hard to put into an actual email or whatever. So at least I've got this video now, and I'm going to send this video over to the Zendesk so they can see exactly what my niggles are and where I feel the polish needs to be focused, because that's all it needs. It just needs a little bit more polish. Heck yes, and then these little things that are missing at the moment can be filled. These little gaps. Heck yes. It just needs some sticky tape in places, you know what I mean? So yeah, some of the things I've highlighted are a little bit, really? Is that really a thing? Yeah, it could just be me being me and being a little bit picky. Tell you what, leave your comments in the comments section. I'd love to read them. But until next time, people, goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again. I want to say a massive, great big thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you to my backers over on Patreon and on YouTube membership. If you do want to support this channel, you could just not skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. Heck yes, and there's also merch on this screen now. Awesome!